After the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, if anything, the left seems to be gloating over the execution of Thompson even more than the Trump assassination attempt.
I don't think it was more so the conversation of, right versus left. This is a conversation of poor versus rich, and it just so happens that there's way more poor people than rich people. Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ariana Jasmine. Today we're going to be talking about Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro. They both uploaded videos claiming that the left is cheering on the murder of a CEO in cold blood, and it seems like a lot of people on their own side started attacking them and saying, hey, no, both people on both sides are actually in support of what happened, I guess, in lack of better terms. So we're going to do a deep dive on that and see what actually happened here. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment for more videos like this, and let's get into it. So starting off with Ben Shapiro, this was the video that he uploaded. First of all, this is Taylor Lorenz. I don't know why he did Taylor Lorenz so dirty, but the title says, "The evil revolutionary left cheers murder."
On Wednesday, as we know, the United Health executive, Brian Thompson, was shot to death on the streets of New York. The real question in all of this is how Americans respond. So Taylor Lorenz, we talked about her yesterday. She is a psychotic former reporter for the Washington Post and the New York Times. She's totally insane. She was insane on COVID. She was insane when it came to the supposed predations of people on the right who ought to, she said, be shut out of media.
Just to be clear, Taylor Lorenz is my friend and she's not insane. She just honestly speaks her mind and I love her. So Ben Shapiro's just talking out of his ass, but we love Taylor Lorenz here.
Well, now she is full-scale rallying in favor of the murderer. So she tweeted yesterday on Blue Sky, which is a weird left-wing echo chamber form of Twitter. There was a post put out by Blue Cross Blue Shield all about whether it was going to pay for anesthesia under its healthcare coverage. And she then tweeted out, quote, "And people wonder why we want these executives dead," openly cheering the death of Brian Thompson. That wasn't her only post. Somebody put out a statement saying, quote, "Legislation idea, healthcare executives and their families must be on the cheapest plan their company offers, and they aren't allowed to seek other care." And she wrote in all capital letters, "Endorse." Then she put out a post of a happy star, like a star with a happy face and balloons, and the caption "CEO down." And she wrote, "Woke up to see this spammed in my group chats."
Honestly, this isn't that crazy. A lot of people were celebrating the death of the CEO. Like, I don't, this was like a nationwide thing. But anyways, Ben Shapiro goes on this almost 50-minute video just ranting about how leftists are causing this divide. And the comments railed on Ben Shapiro. So this one says, "It's not left or right. It's not black and white. It's rich versus poor. Your true colors are showing." This got 22,000 likes. Right-winger here, "You are wrong, Ben. This man denied 35% of claims. One was my dead parents' heart surgery we couldn't afford. He opted to die instead of give us the debt." This has 5.2 thousand likes. "You're wrong, Ben. Again, I'm that evil leftist that you always rage about. I have an uncle as conservative as they come, voted for Trump and everything. We have very little in common and avoided each other on holiday parties. I can tell you we both wept when my dad slowly died of cancer while the insurance he paid for kept denying him life-saving care. We both saw the injustice in that. That same uncle is posting on Facebook right now how, quote, he could give a fuck about no CEO, end quote. Insurance companies kill millions of people a year and they don't discriminate between leftists or conservatives. This just in, a man with $50 million net worth completely misses the point and is out of touch with the frustration of regular Americans." 8.9 thousand likes. Yeah, I'm glad other channels are talking about this too, because this is actually wild. I wonder what Matt Walsh's comments were. Oh no.
Today, the Matt Walsh Show, the left celebrates the murder of a healthcare CEO, but why exactly are they celebrating? Many people are missing the point on this story, I think. I'll tell you what's really going on. After the attempted assassination of Donald Trump in Butler, there was an outpouring of very primal and vicious rage from all corners of the left.
That's such a right-winger way to explain rage. He said there was such a primal rage from the left. Jesus, dude. I don't know why that was so funny. Please don't ever say the word primal, guys. There's never a good point where you can say the word primal. You're always gonna sound like a dick saying it.
Near assassination of a president didn't bring about a period of national mourning or condemnations from Hollywood and academia. Instead, the overwhelming sentiment was, in effect, that Donald Trump had it coming. It continued even after the second assassination attempt on Trump, which led the New York Times to explain that Trump was blameworthy because he had stirred anger among the public. And many other publications, of course, had the same basic take. Obviously, blaming Trump for his own attempted assassination was always demented, but we were supposed to believe that it was acceptable to blame Trump, at least in part, because he's such a polarizing figure. The left insisted they aren't always this bloodthirsty. They said that they didn't want to see every single one of their enemies get murdered in public, live on national television. Instead, they said that they just wanted to see Donald Trump get murdered in public. public because he's basically Hitler, and Hitler is a special case. Once Hitler's out of the way, they said, then they'd return to being normal, functioning citizens who don't want to murder their enemies in cold blood all the time. Now, this is a defense that was never believable, but after the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, even the left is completely abandoning the whole pretense. If anything, the left seems to be gloating over the execution of Thompson even more than the Trump assassination attempt.
I don't think it was more so the conversation of, right versus left. This is a conversation of poor versus rich, and it just so happens that there's way more poor people than rich people.
They're gleefully celebrating the horrific demise of another human being. Whether you're a politician or a business executive, it doesn't matter. They don't want you fired. They don't want you in prison. They want you dead. And they're being very clear about it now. Former Washington Post journalist Taylor Lorenz couldn't have been any more explicit about this. She posted an article on her newsletter entitled,
"Why are they all coming after my girl Taylor? Leave Taylor alone. That's my homegirl." Ugh. I feel like these Republicans get a hard on going after Taylor because it's such an easy, cheap shot.
"We want insurance executives dead." And she wrote that while people should murder these executives, it's normal to wish death upon them. Now, separately, in response to a news article about how Blue Cross Blue Shield recently announced that it won't pay for anesthesia past a certain point, Lorenz wrote, quote, "And people wonder why we want these executives dead." She also posted the name and picture of the CEO of Blue Cross Blue Shield, effectively suggesting that someone should assassinate her. I mean, there's really no other way to interpret it. This is the same woman who says you're a psychopath if you go outside without a mask and raw dog the air, quote unquote. But wishing death on healthcare executives is, completely fine, completely normal stuff.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you go outside without a mask, you are raw dogging the air. I mean, I feel like that's basic fact. Don't get me wrong. I usually don't wear a mask because I personally don't need to, but I am also raw dogging the air. Like, that's very basic information.
Then there was this response from somebody named Angie who said that the murder of the CEO had made her feel reinvigorated.
"I don't know about y'all, but today I feel so reinvigorated."
Wait, oh my God, this is my mutual. I actually know Angie. I wonder if she knows Matt Walsh used her video. Oh my God. Wait, no. Oh, Angie. Angie's a Matt Walsh victim.
Class consciousness is on the rise today. I haven't had hope like this in a long time. Here's the thing. They are so good at keeping us divided because people who are divided are easier to control. So they manufacture all these differences between us to make us hate each other and fight with each other so that we don't realize our collective fight is actually against the elites, that it's a class war that we're actually in the midst of, the working class against the elite. Based off all the videos I'm seeing, based off the comment sections, based off the general consensus as a united front, we all feel the same. We all feel the same, and we're all agreeing. Do you know how hard it is to get the American people to come together and agree on something? God, imagine if we put our powers together to actually fight against our real enemy. I have hope today. Maybe it's naive, but I have hope.
I mean, I didn't hear a single lie. I didn't hear a single goddamn lie. Listen, Angie is definitely a leftist, I will say, but she's talking about the collective consciousness amongst all people in America, not just leftists or people on the left.
So these people are euphoric over the murder of a man with a family, supposedly because they're not happy with his company's insurance coverage, even though most of these people know absolutely nothing about it. They hadn't even heard of the company until this happened. But they've been told by other people on TikTok that they should be happy the guy's dead, and so they are. Because on top of being sociopaths, they are just brainless sheep. But now, like Taylor Lorenz, they're turning their attention and their threats towards other CEOs.
Oh no, we're the brainless sheeps. No, babe, we are people who literally are forced to use American healthcare, and we have been scorned by American healthcare. Your dumbass doesn't understand that, but it's a pretty universal experience when you're an American and you're not a multimillionaire. Yeah, I know it's crazy to think about, but that's the truth. That is the literal truth. My mother had United Healthcare when she was first diagnosed with breast cancer, and they tried to charge her $1,700 just for a biopsy of her tumor. That's when she knew she had to go back to Iran to get chemotherapy because she knew she wouldn't be able to afford it in America. Now she's on Medi-Cal and Medicaid, and she was re-diagnosed with cancer, but she has state-funded insurance that pays for a lot of her chemotherapy and stuff like that. But you want to sit here and call Americans stupid as if we don't have to deal with American healthcare and health insurance for most of our lives. I currently pay over $400 a month for my health care, and that's under the Affordable Care Act, otherwise known as Obamacare. If Republicans scrap Obamacare, I'm screwed. I don't have insurance because I work for myself. I don't work for an employer. A lot of people don't start businesses because they don't want to lose their insurance. A lot of people have to stay with their partners because they're forced to use their partner's insurance. A lot of people aren't insured, period. A lot of people have medical health debt. A lot of people die because they don't want to deal with the debt. They don't want to pass that on to their children, to their family members. So the way Matt Walsh is speaking to people is as if we're fucking stupid, as if we don't understand or comprehend the systems like we are the sheep that doesn't understand or comprehend the systems, even though we have to live under them our whole entire lives. I mean, the way he's speaking to his viewers, if you genuinely watch Matt Walsh on a regular basis and he speaks to you this way, I would fully expect for you to be offended, because he's speaking to people like they're fucking idiots, like they're morons. Like, no, babe, we understand. We fully understand what we're mad about, and we fully understand what we're celebrating, what the collective is celebrating. And it's not because we're brainless sheep that are told to hate insurance companies. It's because we have real human experience, something that your dumbass probably doesn't understand.
Appears to be working. Within hours of the online campaign to harass and threaten the CEO of Blue Cross Blue Shield, the company announced a reversal of its planned policy on anesthesia coverage. They now say they're going to halt their proposed limits on coverage for anesthesia during surgery. The company put out a statement reading, quote, "There's been a significant widespread misinformation about an update to our anesthesia policy. As a result, we've decided to not proceed with this policy change. To be clear, it never was and never will be the policy of Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield to not pay for medically necessary anesthesia services. The proposed update to the policy was only designed to clarify the appropriateness of anesthesia consistent with well-established clinical guidelines." Now, on the surface, this looks like a victory for the assassin and his supporters. The assassin kills one insurance company CEO. The next day, an insurance company rescinds its plan to limit coverage. It's the kind of thing that seems like a major victory if you have no idea how the health insurance industry actually works. The catch is that as a result of this reversal, anesthesiologists no longer have any incentives to stop overbilling, which has been a major problem in their field in recent years. Blue Cross Blue Shield, along with other insurance companies, was trying to force anesthesiologists to accept the standard per procedure Medicare rate for their services. Anesthesiologists hated that idea because they prefer to keep charging high rates for hours that they weren't even working.
Okay, what's crazy to me is someone that has no fucking idea how the medical field works, speaking on how the medical field works. This is a problem that I see with Americans in general, right? For example, in all of my college career, I took maybe a couple of science classes. I will not sit here and talk about the medical field or the healthcare field in a way where which I don't know what I'm talking about, right? I'm not going to sit here and talk about brain surgery or cardiovascular intervention, because guess what? I don't know anything about that. And I have no problem admitting that. Most people don't, unless you're specialized in that. People have the same characteristics with politics, right? You'll meet a lot of people that'll be like, oh, this is the right thing about politics, and they'll have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. And as a person that specializes in politics and talks about politics for a living, it irks me, because I'm like, listen, I'm not going to sit here and talk about cardiovascular surgery because I don't get it. Why the fuck are you sitting here and telling me about politics when you don't even understand politics? When this is literally my job, babe. Obviously, I'm not that rude, but you know, I'm thinking it. But anyways, I only know this because I have been around doctors a lot of my life, and I know anesthesiologists personally. So first of all, anesthesia is only one part of the surgery. Anesthesia is not the person who's actually conducting the surgery. It's the surgeon that's conducting the surgery. Now, it could be a plastic surgery. It could be something as simple as an endoscopy, a colonoscopy. It could be a plastic surgery. You could be getting a nose job. It could be whatever kind of surgery, orthopedic, whatever. The surgeon is the one doing the surgery, not the anesthesiologist. Now, the anesthesiologist does have to monitor the person throughout the whole entire surgery, but they're not the ones that control the duration of the surgery. It's the actual surgeon that controls most of the duration of that surgery, because they're the ones doing the surgery. The surgeon might run into a snag, or, they might have to do more when they cut open the person. You don't know. The anesthesiologist doesn't know. Literally, only the surgeon knows when they open the person up. So it's just one of those things where it's like, you're really talking out of your ass at this point, and it's so obvious.
Now, to be clear, there's certainly evidence that companies like United Healthcare are becoming much more aggressive in denying certain kinds of claims. A Senate report from this year, for example, found that, quote, in 2019, United Healthcare issued an initial denial to 8.7% of the post-acute care prior authorization requests it received. By 2022, it denied 22.7% of all such requests, an increase of 172%. Its 2022 denial rate for skilled nursing facilities was 9 times higher than it was 3 years before. The Democrat-led Senate committee concluded that Medicare Advantage insurers are intentionally targeting a costly but critical area of medicine, substituting judgment about medical necessity with a calculation about financial gain. Now, what the report doesn't mention is that United Healthcare has profit margins of around 6%. After tax, it's really under 4%. And that means that as a matter of basic finance, they're not driving up profits to some ridiculous degree. Like any business, they have a lot of operating costs, they assume risks. If they started approving every claim, they go out of business overnight, of course. The other important element here that Democrats overlook for obvious reasons is that Democrats are the ones who implemented coverage mandates, which inevitably raise the price of insurance for everybody.
So just to be clear, under the guise of the CEO that was assassinated, UHC made billions and billions of dollars of more profit because they were denying a record number of claims under his leadership. So this is also a bunch of horse shit, because their profits specifically almost tripled, quadrupled, whatever you want to call it, by billions of dollars. I'm not talking about a couple $1 million. I'm talking about multi-billions of dollars, because they started using an AI model that was denying upwards of 90% of claims because the AI model was faulty. But they didn't care, because that AI model helped them make more money, because the more insurance claims that you deny, the more money you make, because you don't have to pay out the medical bills that these people are claiming that they need. And UHC has has the worst number of claim denials of any other insurance company. The average is around 16 to 15%. UHC is above 30% of denial claims, which is double the average of an American insurance company. Matt is being dumb. I want to believe he understands how this works, but I feel like his content is so contingent on creating cultural divide that he's just like married to the bit. You know what I mean? Anyways, I kind of want to see what the comments on this are. Let's see. Hold on. So this video has 146,000 views, only 6.5K likes. Ooh, boy. That's embarrassing. That's bad. That's a terrible ratio. Let's see. 2.9K likes. My mom's friend has been battling leukemia for years, and every month she has to fight with her insurance to cover her life-saving medication. She's lost everything because of this cancer. Same with my parents. She went from being a homeowner to living in Section 8 apartment. She was actually lucky to even get Section 8. California, for example, Section 8 is on hold. You can't even apply to get Section 8 housing. Her medical debt is gonna kill her faster than her cancers. I agree. It's not left or right to say that America deserves a better healthcare system. 2.5K likes. We aren't left wing for hating a guy whose bread and butter was literally other people's suffering, Matt. I'm not saying you or anyone should be cheering on his death, but you're definitely out of touch with regular people when it comes to issues of healthcare. I'll take. Matt isn't, quote, out of touch. He's purposely dividing us so he can team up and laugh all the way to the bank. Ooh, wait, why did this comment low-key eat? Period. I love that. That's probably my favorite comment that I've read so far. The fact that Matt is trying to paint this as a left-wing issue where there's clearly bipartisan celebrations going on just goes to show how out of touch celebrities are, whether on the right or left, with regular, everyday, ordinary people. Longtime Daily Watcher here. The bizarre instances that it's just the left, quote, celebrating the CEO getting clipped masks makes me, oh, this person made a typo, makes me think one of the two things about you, Matt. You are brutally out of touch, A. B, you are mostly just a mouthpiece for corporate interests of the Daily Wire that requires tribalization and fighting between everyday normal people. Oh my God. Are the people, chat, are the masses waking up? All right, let's see. I think Mike did a video. I kind of want to watch it really quick.
Something is happening in this country that I did not think was even possible. Americans are waking up and finally becoming class conscious. And the propaganda that once suppressed this awakening for years and kept them in line has failed at a critical point in time. Now, to show you what I mean, we're going to talk about conservative commentator Ben Shapiro and the way that he discussed the assassination of the United Health CEO, Brian Thompson. Now, he did his usual bootlicking because that's what he's paid to do. He tried to make this a left versus right thing. His audience was not buying it. Now, Ben Shapiro, getting back to him, tried to partisanize this issue and make it seem like it was just the left that was celebrating the murder of this healthcare CEO, even though everyone had the same response everywhere.
You know what I've always noticed too is that I feel like Republicans like Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro always like to cry about how the left does identity politics when they are literally the ones that push identity politics onto us, i.e., if the CEO was a black woman, you guys wouldn't be celebrating. Like, no, this is collective class consciousness against a CEO that has been raking in billions of dollars off of the normal people suffering through healthcare claim denials. I don't give a fuck if it was a Smurf. People would still be celebrating.
Hey, just for kicks, I wonder if Matt Walsh praised the murder recently himself. Oh, would you look at that? He's retweeting End Wokeness, who's saying this acquittal marks the end of the BLM era, so pop that champagne. And I guess they just had to include an image of Jordan Neely dying just for good measure. Listen, I need you to understand that these people are morally superior to no one. And the reason why they're so offended by the response to the health insurance CEO's murder is because they don't view what he did as criminal. Because in their mind, poor people are just disposable. Their lives are meaningless. So if they're mad about a family member dying due to a claim denial, tough fucking luck. Should have stopped being poor, I guess, right? They genuinely believe that rich people are better than the rest of us.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I feel like the point of people like Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro's pages is to literally cause a bunch of divide amongst all the people, cultural divides. Because I think they understand that when we have collective class consciousness, that's when the elite class is screwed because there's way more of us than them. And there's power with numbers. There's power with collective class consciousness. And they know that. That's why our education is so fucked. That's why they don't teach us the real history. That's why they don't teach us about revolutions and people collectively coming together to work on their own success when it comes to collectively working together. All they do is they push divide because they know that once we do start working together, they're screwed. They're all screwed. Their money is screwed. Their lifestyle is screwed. The way of life that they live is screwed. They know that everything will come down, raining upon them. So yeah, thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel. My name is Ariana Jasmine. Please make sure you like, subscribe, comment for more videos like this. We are so close to hitting 10K subscribers, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell so you get the notifications.